Okay, so my guests today, I feel very fortunate to have Jenny and Sam Dancer. And we met a very long time ago when Rachel, before she was my wife, she said, hey, you need to go down to
the YMCA?
Washington. No, this is like, no, this is, I'm talking about the gym.
Oh, you're doing further.
I'm talking about the gym, the old Rocky gym, the original Q-Town CrossFit gym of where this graffiti is.
8th Street, I believe.
8th Street, that's what it was. Was it 8th and Washington?
Yeah, something around there.
So Rachel and I had just started dating. This is a very long time ago. I mean, this is a very long time ago, back when you guys had, I call it the Rocky gym, because all of the gyms that you've had since then have been very fancy. Compared, that was like kind of in like what I consider to be like an automotive garage.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Ivan Drago kind of trains where you guys train now.
Yeah,
a lot of fun memories made in that place, and
it's still our favorite
we have a
gym.
picture up in our gym to like kind of commemorate the
uniqueness and special.
how special that was. But it was the smallest gym that we've had. It was the coldest gym that we've had.
Might have been the happiest gym
And
we had.
it might have been one of all, like, anyone who's been around since that day, probably one of our favorite places to train, because it definitely like embodied that that rockiness, that kind of grungy garage.
Community, supportive.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Pulling sleds in the alley. And you would have us all run around the block, and then you would say, by the way, everybody, I don't like running, but we're going to run. And you would say things, and that was back in the early days of what you guys were doing.
In that gym, we literally had snow inside the gym that we would be working out in, like hats, gloves, coats at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. classes, and no one complained. We had snow inside the gym. Everyone was happy as can be.
It's kind of interesting, Jenny, that you said something like, maybe that was the happiest gym. And did that slip out? Or?
Well, it slipped out in the sense because I know that there's a lot that can go behind that comment. Not saying that like our gym now is not the happiest, but there was just so many firsts in that gym that that it's your first.
We
gym,
had so
love.
little. We had so little, and that's it's an interesting kind of concept when it comes to like your happiness. Like, for instance, we just got back from Bali in Indonesia and Thailand, and not necessarily that they have so little over there, but it's such a simple lifestyle, yet it's widely known as two of the happiest places in the world. And then when you start adding all these amenities and these offerings, there begins to become some sort of level of expectation, I believe, that comes with a lot of that stuff. And no different than even just maybe all of our lifestyles. I'm going to make something up. Let's say you're living right now a $100,000 lifestyle. That is your yearly expenses for you to get to go do whatever it is that Frankie does that you enjoy with your family. And now that you've experienced that, it would be quite a shock to go live a life of maybe a $25,000 lifestyle. And we were living a $25,000 lifestyle, and we found a lot of peace and solace in just the simplicity of it. And it seemed to permeate the entire culture of our gym. Everyone was just so about it, man. Like Jenny said, gloves, hats, snow blowing in.
Everyone just loved fitness and being together so much that none of the stuff around us mattered. Like, it didn't matter if we had pipes from Home Depot as our pull-up bars, It was just so simple and beautiful, and I think we will always remember that.
That was fantastic. Did you say that you just got back from Bali?
Yeah.
Just got back, yeah.
Like, how long ago?
A week, maybe?
How long were you there?
We're still in some jet lag.
Yeah, we were a week in Thailand and a week in Indonesia.
So what sends you to a place like that? Why are you going over there?
Yeah, well, this particular trip, half of it was a work trip, and then the other half was our first non-work related family vacation.
Yeah, just the three of us.
Yeah, so that was lovely. But we were there assistant coaching a fitness retreat, a wellness retreat. So a group of roughly 20 people come in, and we essentially guide them through what I would consider like our kind of standard operating procedure when it comes to our how we live well. So with food and training and adventuring and
Emotional, spiritual conversations. I mean, like you just dive in. Most people too coming to different retreats are trying to start maybe new habits. They're trying to start new lives, things like that. So you really get into some deep conversations with people. So what I love about it, he loves to coach. He loves to do a lot of fitness. I love to talk with people. So I got to go and speak to 20 different strangers, get to know their lives, figure out what they're doing, and we got to live together for a whole week. So
during the green room, Jenny, you were talking to David Adam for a few minutes, and I was talking to Sam, just catching up and bragging that I still have the OG.
That's over 10 years old.
yeah,
It's 2013.
Yeah.
It's like it's about 12 years old.
Looks good on you.
Ish, approximately. Thank you. I used to fill it in more, Sam. I think my protein intake went down.
You still look good.
So we were kind of talking, and I told Sam, I go, if you ask the interwebs, questions about the dancers, it's really amazing. If anybody wants to Google Jenny Dancer or Sam Dancer, it'll take you down all of these different rabbit holes that are very interesting. As a matter of fact, so obviously, my wife Rachel, and we're talking about how I really need to get Sam or Jenny on, and Sam's not really in town as much. I'm just going to get Jenny because every time that I talk to you, Jenny, it's just always it's super fun. Like it's entertaining for me. Okay, selfishly, but I'm like, and we're kind of looking around the interwebs. I wonder what's going on right now. So I literally just Googled your name. Okay, and you
Dancer or Nobis?
Dancer.
Dancer. Ooh.
So yeah, if I get Nobis, I'll start getting
Haven't done
professional soccer playing in Sweden and Europe. I'll start getting all of that stuff. But with Dancer, it says it takes me directly to a celebrity website called celebwell.com. So
What?
it starts going. Yeah, you probably don't even know this.
No idea.
So there's pages and pages and pages of both of you. Have you ever? So there's the old Joe Rogan thing is don't ever Google yourself.
Yeah, I don't ever want to Google myself, especially Reddit. They say don't ever Reddit yourself.
And don't read the comments.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Now, the way that you guys do social media, it's always so positive that all of the comments is 99.999% positive. It's way different if I do it, right, Sam? Not quite that level of positive, but I literally had to learn about you in December, about kind of where you guys were, by doing. I'd have to go to Instagram to find out, and I was telling Sam, I'm like, I can text you guys and call you guys, but if I would have done it last week, you would have been.
The hunt is a little bit more fun.
The hunt, go on the internet and go to celebrity pages and go to Celebwell and see what Jenny Dancer's doing. And it's got all of these pictures of you after a really hard workout. There was some CrossFit workout where very rarely you say you really don't want to compete as much as you used to because of star, or you got limited energy sometimes, or you have to compete with Sam. But it's funny, it's comedy to me when I go on the interwebs and look you guys up. It is funny. I do have a question for you. I was watching the Super Bowl, and I saw Tom Brady there, and he's rocking Noble.
Yeah.
And I remember you kind of starting the Noble thing with a group of investors and the creators a long time ago.
Yep.
How do you feel about Tom Brady encroaching on your company here?
I love it. It's been wild getting to have a front seat to watching that unfold and grow like it has. When that started back in kind of 2014, 2015, it was me, another friend, Brooke Ince, were kind of the main faces of the brand, and there were three gentlemen, Marcus, Michael, and Todd, and we were operating out of essentially a garage bay in Boston, and just doing everything that we could to promote the brand and build the brand and design what we thought would be classy, timeless apparel and footwear, and growing to now there's probably over 300 employees. The company's probably worth over $1 billion now, and now we're getting big time investors such as Tom Brady getting involved. So yeah, it's kind of surreal.
We were watching the Super Bowl previews, and we're making food in the kitchen, and kids are running around, and I'm like, what? Tom Brady? How did Sam and Jenny land Tom Brady? That's like, and then it was fleeting, and then I'm done thinking about it.
Yeah, we definitely didn't land him.
Yeah.
We didn't really have anything to do with that part necessarily, but.
But you guys started that. OG, you were there. How?
From day one.
From day one.
From day one.
Our first experience with Noble was when they were at ECC Championships, a competition, and we were quite poor in this moment of our lives, and I had Sam on a budget, and I remember he's like, hey, I really want this backpack. And I was like, okay. He's like, how much was it?
It was expensive.
It was like $200-ish. And I was like, and he's like, I really need it. I really want it. He's like, a great entry for this, this company. And I was like, you have $130 left for the rest of the weekend. If that's what you want to figure out to do, you can go ask them if you can have it for $130.
They didn't even want to sell it to me because it was maybe
The only
one of 4 that they have even produced. I mean, this is a brand new company that's just trying to kind of get their name out there. They don't even really have the
finances,
the product available to even. They were there to sell like whatever they had in stock of shoes, and then put some other things on display to kind of help kind of round out the brand a little bit. But yeah, they were even hesitant to sell it to me, and then
I'm making bargain for it.
Yeah, bargain for it. And,
I love this.
Yeah, it was
and that's
cool.
how
So
we
yes,
started.
it started off as technically a customer, and yeah.
Well, so I don't know if I should say this. If Noble is listening, please take this as a positive, and I'm not going to blow your cover in a bad way. But I remember there was this one particular time, and I can't remember the details of it. But there was a situation in which I didn't have any shoes. Okay? And I think it might have been a couple summers ago when we went out on the river. Okay? But there was this situation in which I didn't have any shoes. And you go, here, try these on. And I tried them on, and they were Noble shoes, and they were like brand new, and they were like really nice, and they were super comfortable. And I'm like, oh, thanks, I'll get back to you. You go, yeah, no problem. And then later on, when we're leaving, I go, oh, you need your shoes, and you go, they're yours. I go, no, Sammy, come on, man. Like, take your shoes. Like, do you like them? I'm like, I love them. They're fantastic. You go, they're yours. And then I heard a couple months later, somewhere at the gym, you either gave somebody another pair of Noble shoes, you're giving these things away.
It's honestly been one of my most cherished aspects of being involved with Noble is I have so many pairs of shoes, so many shirts, so many jackets and shorts, and I love being able to give literally the shirt off my back or the shoes on my feet away to someone. And to them it comes off as, that was a special moment for you.
It was.
I gave you my shoes, but
I still have them.
Little do you know that there's, 100 other pair, in my closet.
I don't know that.
It's not as it seemed like an awesome thing that I did for you, but when you have hundreds of shoes, it's not as cool as it seems.
Yeah, but it's still a really special moment that you love to do.
But I love getting to do that.
Yeah.
I love getting whenever someone says like, "Oh, hey, I like your shirt," and I can just be like, "Bloop."
We've been out on the sidewalk just walking, and there'd be a homeless guy. Sam literally has taken his shoes off and given him a guy a pair of shoes, and he's just walking the rest of the day with no shoes on.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And that is you. So Jenny, a couple weeks ago, I was driving past. I do kind of want to talk about your new building. That's just steps away. I mean, we could almost see it.
Touch it.
We can almost touch it from here. It's what's the address, Sam?
311 Main, the old Roy Bennett Furniture Building.
Yes. And what are you doing with that building? I sent you that text where I was kind of really excited, that you're coming on the pod, and so I was driving by, and Rachel goes, "Oh, that's the building." I'm like, so I pull over, almost get into a car wreck. I'm trying to take pictures with my iPhone at the building, because I was thinking about how I was trying to be creative, about how I sent you that workshop paint video or picture of where you could knock out a bunch of brick and put in windows so you can see the river.
Yeah.
Why? What's going on? Why'd you guys buy that building?
So we're partnering with some other individuals here in Quincy and with the building, but our main thing is we want to build a wellness tower. We want to be able to combine our love for making people feel good in wellness, in the fitness space, but also in our spiritual journey and our faith, and combine those with this wellness building and tower, and just to help the community in the wellness space. How can we give back to the community, and how can we better our community and ourselves?
I mean, it's a tower because it's huge. It's tall.
Huge.
How many floors?
5 floors.
6,500 square feet on each floor.
6,500 times 5 floors?
Mm-hmm. About 30,000 square feet of space, and we are just tackling it just
One by
one floor at a time, buddy. This is far beyond anything that we have ever been involved with when it comes to real estate and property development, and especially development of a historic building, which is, from my little experience with just even renovating a 100-year-old house, sometimes seems to be much easier just to start anew and start with a blank slate. But I don't know. We have so much character and remnants of such a wonderful culture that seemed to be around in the early to late 1900s here in Quincy, Illinois, and we definitely want to kind of pay homage to that and keep as much of that alive here in Quincy as we can. So
there have been a lot of people, mutual friends of ours, that I know you guys are here in town a lot, and you're gone a lot. You're out doing work.
Yeah, we've been gone more than we've been here, to be honest. So
it feels that way.
And it's definitely starting to shift a little bit, especially if we're going to want to do the things that we have a vision for here in Quincy, Illinois. It's going to require our presence. So things are definitely slowing down on the traveling, and it's not all just fun and play. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love and enjoy what we do, but quite frankly, there's not as much of a market for what it is that we provide here in Quincy as there is, in bigger cities or even internationally. So
that's kind of what's made us leave Quincy, is the need for fitness and stuff in other places. But because we've been in other places, other cities, other states, that has allowed us to have a network, that has allowed us to build a nonprofit, that has allowed us to have what we have right now in Q-Town Fitness with the sponsorships and the partnerships that we have done. So being able to leave Quincy for 6 months out of the year, 7 months out of the year, has been able for us to maintain our businesses here in Quincy. It was needed. Now that we are in a position of, we've had our nonprofit, we have our business for like 10 years, we now can come back to Quincy. We have a good foundation with those businesses, and now it's time to grow those businesses here in Quincy and try to find the local community for the support instead of having to go elsewhere for that support.
Well, there have been people in Quincy that you're close to that know you really well and have been not fearful but concerned that you're going to leave Quincy.
It's always been in the back of our head, for sure.
I know. I mean, sometimes when you come back, we always think, oh, they're back. Well, it's kind of like, so driving out, without giving the location of this particular residence, driving down the street, and I see the world's biggest snowman, and I ask some of your family members, who built the snowman? And then, of course, it was, Sam and Max. And I'm like, okay, so Sam's in town. Okay. So I have to see a big, huge, bigger than life snowman. Shane, snowman is as tall as this.
It's probably like 15 foot, wasn't it?
15 foot?
Yeah.
So bigger than this?
It might have crested the ceiling with the hat involved.
So how did you? Yeah. So I'm not going to ask you how you built that snowman, but real quick about the snowman. It's the largest snowman I've ever seen in Quincy.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of it. I did maybe kind of like trespass on your property for a second to like try to get my 5-year-old to run out and stand by it to show how big it is, and she wouldn't do it.
No.
I was so mad. Like,
Yeah.
you're grounded.
It's an intimidating snowman.
Did you
I
get
don't
her to
blame
take a picture of you next to it,
No,
though?
I mean, I can show you the pictures I took. I look like a creeper around your neighborhood.
Okay, a lot of people were doing it. That's why we did it. We enjoyed it.
You did it so people can stop their tracks.
That's why we built it in Max and Katie's house yard instead of ours.
Okay, good. Yeah, you said it, not me. How'd you get the head on?
We had I basically would roll just a bunch of mini snowballs. Not mini, but medium-sized snowballs, and then break them into pieces, and then transport them up a ladder and rebuild the head. And we put a trash can on top of him for his hat.
Oh, that was a trash can?
That was a 50-gallon trash can.
Okay, that looks like a really small hat.
Yeah.
But it's big.
Yeah.
So here's my CrossFit joke. Did you do it for time?
It took me 7 hours.
Wow.
I burnt, I believe, over 4,000 calories, and I took over 20,000 steps, I think.
Okay. So this.
Yes,
So it was for time, yeah.
it was for time.
It was for time.
Everything's for time.
Yeah.
Everything's for time.
That gets me in trouble sometimes, but it's just like it's in my nature to have a propensity to overreach and do things as fast as possible.
It's so funny. Are they still naming the CrossFit community? I noticed that you've changed the name from Q-Town CrossFit to Q-Town Fitness.
Yeah.
I think that was an interesting move. I bet there were pros and cons of that.
Mostly pros.
Yeah, mostly pros. We honestly did it. There's a lot of speculation within the CrossFit community as to why some gyms did it, because there seemed to be kind of a national de-affiliation right around the time that we did as well.
It's about a year before we did it.
Yeah.
We did it a year before the whole
and
movement.
And so much of what people think about CrossFit is relative to what I do in terms of competing in the sport, which is very little of what CrossFit really is. And we found that was more of a deterrent from people coming. It's already hard enough to walk through the doors of any gym. Mm-hmm. There's something that is just kind of intimidating for a lot of people who aren't familiar with the gym space, whether it be a CrossFit gym, a YMCA, a Croc Center, a Snap Fitness, whatever it is. It can be intimidating if you haven't had experience in that field. And even then, still to this day, I've been to hundreds of CrossFit gyms, and it's always just kind of nerve-wracking going into somewhere new and uncharted.
Even though it's the most inviting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Community, like almost in the world.
The hardest thing with our gym is getting people in the door. Once they're in the door, they're like, "You guys are so welcoming. I had no idea that this was what the community was like inside these doors." But they have to walk through them.
But they
first.
see me, maybe walking on my hands or doing some sort of gymnastic stuff and on rings and just these wild physical feats, and they're like, "Man, you're not going to make me walk on my hands, are you?" And it's like, "Well, can you walk on your hands?" No, well then of course I'm not going to make you walk on your hands. I do want to challenge you to maybe do things that you haven't done before, and I'm never going to have you do anything that you're not comfortable with doing, or have you do something that I don't believe that you can't do with excellence. But yeah, I think departing from that CrossFit name has really helped, even though we haven't changed anything in terms of what we provide. Which is a physical fitness program that is scalable to everyone's needs. So we have everything from people with mental and physical disabilities that are taking our classes, all the way to 80-year-olds who have had 2 hip replacements and everything in between. So it's for everyone. It is by design. We have made it in a way that whether you are overweight or you are injured or you have never stepped foot in a gym, we have a prescription for you.
So I find that to be shocking because most gyms are not like that. And I apologize, I have not been in your gym recently, but you know that I've been in your gym many, many times. And as a matter of fact, some of my greatest relationships, and you're going to see me again. I know I keep saying that. And if Copeland's listening, he's gonna be like, yeah, right. That's what Frankie always says. He always says he's coming back, but I don't see him. But it's shocking. So when you guys were the husband and wife team with Invictus, and you guys were winning, okay, and you have earned the title of world's fittest person. Like you have owned that title. I've seen you on TV. I've seen the videos of you competing. If you just show just that to somebody who isn't really sure if they should even join the Y, much less, it is a shocking thing. The moral of the story here right now is, yes, you guys are fitness celebs, and I know you don't like to talk about that. That's fine. I'll just say it, okay? And I know you guys are at the very, 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 very top of fitness of the world. Top. In Quincy, and I'm talking to you in the flesh. It's shocking that you guys are able to do what you do. And this isn't like an advertisement for your gym. I'm saying it is unbelievable to me that you guys have accomplished those things. Yet your gym here in Quincy is the most welcoming place. In Quincy, it's more welcoming than a church. It's more welcoming than the greeters at Walmart. It's more welcoming than my own home sometimes.
You know why?
No, why?
Because of our members, the people who are a part of our gym. Because people coming in our gym sometimes aren't always seeing me and Sam. They're seeing our members. They're seeing our coaches. They're seeing our staff. They're seeing the members is what makes our gym so special. And that's why people say, like, do you guys do discounts for, the new part of the year, new year, new you? We don't really do discounts or anything like that because the people that want to be a part of our gym are the ones that come in. They're consistent, they're hardworking, they're kind. Everyone has been a new member at some point in their life, even if they've been 10 years or 1 year. Everyone had that first time where they had to come into the gym and be uncomfortable. They had to walk in. They had to be like, what is happening?
And it's usually immediately eroded the second you do walk through the door, and you have a member come up to you and
how are you?
Yeah,
how can I help
introduce
you?
themselves, and
and everyone had that moment where they were the first person. And so when someone new comes in our gym, even if you've been in there 10 years, they're going to remember what that feeling was like for them, and they don't want people to have to feel that way. So that is why I feel like our gym is so welcoming, because I think it kind of deters people away for them to know what our background is, with professional sports, with professional CrossFit. I think sometimes that scares people away. I don't think that really helps bringing people in. It does help to know that we have the knowledge, but it's our members, I think, that why our gym is so special.
Your members are really special. I mean, you can see them. They socialize outside of your gym. You guys really did. You know how people say, "Oh, it's a family." It really is.
It is,
In your case,
it's some of the greatest social equity we have.
And that's what's bringing us back to Quincy. Why we want to stay here is because of our members.
There's lawyers in there, there's doctors in there, there's physical therapists and chiropractors and other business owners.
Teachers, moms.
And it's just such a melting pot of people, and you have access to all of that. So whenever someone needs help moving a hot tub, like, you have a group of people that you can count on coming to support you in moving your hot tub. Whenever you're doing, demo on your new building, you have a group of people that you can count on to come over there and help you out with something, or whatever it is that you're doing. It is a friendly place, and we consider it a family, and it is very much that.
So yeah, you mentioned a hot tub. How about a cold plunge tub?
You about that?
Will you help people move those?
Yeah.
Anytime.
Okay. So
You can come to our new facility and get in a cold plunge and a hot tub. Sauna.
Okay.
Not hot tub, sauna.
Sauna?
Yeah. We're hoping in the new building to have some recovery spaces of saunas
clutch.
and ice.
Okay, let's play a game. I'm going to say something, and you tell me if the average human should either try it out once in their life as an experience, or if it's something that they should live. You ready? Cold plunge.
Live.
Vitamin C drips.
Experience.
Pushing a sled through a parking lot with a weighted sled through a parking lot.
Experience.
Experience that.
Okay. One push-up.
Live.
Okay. One pull-up.
Live.
One sit-up.
Live.
One air squat.
Live.
Okay.
You're sitting on the toilet. That's one air squat for you.
Ooh.
You're going to need
The
that.
functional movement. You're
You're
going to
need that.
You know, so
You're going to need at least one.
You know, somebody once told me, this is back when I did a lot more fitness, and I do some fitness.
Can you
I'm
get
a
off the
wrestling
toilet?
coach. Pardon?
Can you get off the toilet?
Yeah. I can
sure.
get off the toilet so well.
We're just making sure your functional
I'm
movement's still
really
there.
good. So this guy was telling me, a Quincy CrossFitter that goes to your gym. I don't know his name. This is a couple years ago, and it was an icy patch, and we were talking about CrossFit. I really need to get back in there. They're like, "Oh, have you ever been in the gym?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's the best. It's the best thing, Quincy. It's the number one thing." I mean, I think people should live the lifestyle that you guys teach about, even if it's at a 1.
Yeah.
You know, because some people are living at a 0. You're not. So if you two are at 10s, but you would ask somebody can you get to a 1? Can you just get from 0 to 1, and then just kind of rest in that space a little bit.
But you know what stops that from the 0 to 1, or why people get injured in the gym as well, is because of the ego. The ego gets in the way. Like, they're already too far gone that they don't think that just a little bit is going to be enough, right? It's like I feel like people, I don't know, just in Quincy or in general, have to go to 0 to 100. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you feel like are humans on, generally speaking, are they getting fitter or are they getting lazier? Is the law of entropy coming down, not harder, but, you know, like 100 years ago, we were all in the backyard chopping wood.
Yeah, well, it
And
was
now-
a necessity. You know, it was something that we had to do, and life has definitely become more comfortable, and the access to things have become easier. You can get groceries. You know, that alone, the fact that there's grocery stores has simplified things beyond, you know, what we were used to 70, 80 years ago. And now you can get them just delivered to your door.
One of your members, we were talking about, it was an icy parking lot, and I had kind of slipped. I was opening up my car door, and I slipped, and he goes, that's why you need functional fitness. I go, okay, yeah, you're right. He's like, no, think about it. And he wasn't preaching, he was being super cool. And then I went home and told Rachel, I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't want to get a hernia. Like when you get out of a car, even like today, you get out of a vehicle and you kind of slip, like you want to have a tight core.
Yeah, Jenny and I
Like-
always say, any lesser of an athlete after anything bad that happens. So even if the result is bad, we just say to each other, imagine if you were any lesser of an athlete, how much
Bad that could've
worse
been.
that would have been. And
I mean, what kind of things are happening to you?
just think the little things.
little things, like if you trip
you
over
said,
something.
slipping. Like if
Yeah.
you were, you know, just even a fraction less of athletic that you are, or mobile, or as functional as you are,
You would've thrown it
that
back
could have
out.
ended up being a
Okay.
broken hip for you. So just it's basically a way for us in moments that suck, and you know you're bummed out about whether it was that you dropped something, or you slipped and you fell, or you tripped and you fell, and you maybe injured yourself. But if you weren't as athletic as you are, that could have been significantly worse of a result. And so we've used it as a kind of a way to brighten our moods with maybe the results that we weren't expecting, but to realize that it could have been worse. And
We get to live life so much better because of our fitness. And if that's traveling, going on vacations, doing radical cool things that we get to go see because we're fit to go do those things, or if it's just catching ourselves in a slip and it could have been worse.
What's the hardest workout you've ever had to do? Can you nail it down to one, or have there been so many that you...
Yeah, having a baby.
oh,
That was a workout. It was a
Whoa.
workout. Having a baby was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Interesting. You caught me off guard there.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like 24.2 or something.
yeah, I thought I had it nailed down too. But yeah, I would.
I'm
I'll
pretty
second
gung-ho
that.
about that baby
That
thing.
was pretty
That was
wild.
tough. And here's why. Not physically. I wouldn't even say, like, I guess mentally, yeah. But the hardest part was if I'm injured, if I'm going through something that's hard, if that's in my life, if that's in fitness, if that's in anything, my brain can wrap itself around and say, this is the worst thing it's going to be. Figure it out how you're going to handle that pain or that depression or that sadness or whatever it is. Figure it out, because this is what's going to feel like. Birth, the pain never stops. It continues and continues and continues until that contraction is done. So you have no ends of, you can't wrap your head around the amount of pain you're going to feel for each contraction, because it keeps going. The pain doesn't stop until it's done.
Is it true that women forget about the pain?
No, I remember it very vividly, and it's been 4 years.
Okay.
Very vividly. I don't know how people forget. I think
maybe
forget.
people make the joke. They're like, "Oh, women forget. It feels so good to make one. It hurts so bad to have one." You know, people just kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just never really forgot it.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been a typical woman that's, it's kind of weird, but like dreams about being married, dreams about her wedding, dreams about having kids and what that life looks like. I never dreamt any of that. And I also remember exactly how it felt having a kid. But yeah.
Wow. So.
But that's the hardest workout. But if you want me to be honest about like an actual physical workout that I've done within my CrossFit career,
Sure.
it would be probably the one that I passed out at the games.
Australians.
Yeah. So we were competing against, obviously, Australians. They're always first in any swim workout. They're just amazing. And we're a team, so you don't want to let your teammates down. We had a 500-meter swim, a 500-meter paddleboard with our team, and then we had to run 2 miles, a little bit over 2 miles. And I was dragged the entire time. When I got out of the water, I did great in the water. At the moment I got out of the water, I was dragged for 2 miles, and we took second.
You were dragged?
I was
Drugged.
drugged. I was
Drugged.
Drugged. Like
dragged, drugged.
No, we
I was
like
pulled.
pulled?
Pushed and pulled. We were all holding onto a rope.
miles.
She was getting pushed from behind and
I
pulled
was
from the front.
Incoherent. I thought I was coherent, and I couldn't remember why. I'm like, why are you guys asking me so many questions? I can't answer these questions. I'm so tired. But I realized they were trying to make sure that I was still talking.
Yeah, she was basically having a heat stroke.
It was hard.
That's kind of like a no joke, kind of close to death.
Yeah, it's funny. It's not funny, but there was actually the surprising. I'm kind of shocked that this is the first time that the CrossFit Games has experienced the death of an athlete. But yeah, there's been a number of times that we've been competing.
You push yourself to the limit. They don't.
You look down at your heart rate monitor and you see what your heart rate is at, and you're like, oh man, I can't do that for very long.
Yeah.
At a heart rate which would kill most people, and even for us, it's not.
It's redlining for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to see yourself hitting those.
Do you mind sharing what a red line heart rate? Like, what is a
Probably
red line?
over for us, like 185.
For you, around probably around 190, and mine, as I get a little older, it gets a little lower and lower. But I've definitely seen my heart rate up around 220, and
220?
Usually, like that is, if you get heat, and heat is when things get really tricky.
Yeah.
When it gets hot out and you're still,
But you also
pushing.
could become a little delirious within the heat too, so you can convince yourself to keep going.
Which is like looking back at it, and especially after, like I mentioned, there was a death this year. It kind of it really puts a lot in perspective. You're like, holy cats, man!
Yeah, maybe that's not worth it.
I don't know that.
But honestly, too, when you're in that moment, you don't have. I don't think your judgment is
good. And you feel like as an athlete, you've
'Cause you're an
conditioned
athlete, you
yourself
condition yourself
to push through it. It's so stupid, but it's also just kind of.
Is what you do.
Part of the
but
game.
But that is the one thing that separates. So you can see so many talented athletes, right? We see them all the time. But it doesn't matter how talented you are, honestly. I think it's the mindset that makes you a professional athlete, and that's what sets you apart from D1 college to being a professional. Is that mindset? But it's also a scary mindset because you trained yourself to do anything above all odds.
Yeah.
Like you've trained yourself to kind of
Ignore-
be like an
Ignore
assassin.
all the signs possible that's telling you to stop.
Like a ninja samurai, that you will do anything it takes.
Yeah. Like you literally can shut off any signal that your body is telling you to stop. It's happened multiple times. All the time. in that level. I don't think I had it as much as soccer as I did as a professional CrossFitter. But
is being a professional CrossFitter harder than soccer?
Absolutely, I think, yeah.
I mean,
would think,
me
yeah.
playing soccer, I have not gotten to the level that you've gotten to with soccer.
There's not much
But
outside. There's not much. There's not a lot of things in soccer that are going to be different than what you typically see. Out of those 90 minutes, you've seen everything. You played so many people. You kind of know what's going to happen in a way, right? Yeah. Still, there's odds of like who's going to win and who's not.
Yeah,
but
there's
CrossFit,
expectations.
It's completely unknown. Sometimes you don't even know the workout before you even get out there.
do you think people don't understand that CrossFit is a sport? So for example, so this is my opinion, and you can push back on this, and I know you've got to teach a class here, so whatever you need to dip, Jenny, feel free, but I have this opinion that, and I know that you guys do so much more than CrossFit. You guys are doing a 5D underwater chess thing at this point that is so deep and brilliant, and I love it. But also, there's some power snatching involved. There's overhead squats. There's I remember when you guys taught me how to back squat with a box squats. So I still use these techniques. I'll be honest, I don't go to the Y and power snatch because they'll throw a fit. If you try to even deadlift over there, they start getting all weird. But sorry, Curtis, if you're listening, new CEO of Y.
Yeah.
Of course, Curtis is a huge supporter of you guys.
Yeah.
Curtis Seffler. But I think that a lot of people, like chiropractors and physical therapists, I've heard them say, not lately, but in the past, they've said like, oh, well, that's dangerous. Say, well, are you sure? I just came from a CrossFit workout. We did push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups. We did it for 13 minutes, and we carried some sandbags, and we did some farmer carries. You're telling me that is not dangerous?
No, you do that every day. You carry groceries out to your car.
Yeah, we're literally doing
farmer's carries.
Yeah, we're literally doing like functional.
You sit on the toilet.
Right.
You squat.
But to watch, if I've ever been sent videos of you in the past of what you guys are doing, or if I'm watching the games and I'm seeing you, or whatever the case may be, or if I'm watching CrossFitters, period, I don't think that everybody understands that it's a sport in that things can happen. Yeah. What's your take on this?
I'll say something real fast and then I gotta go, but
okay.
One thing I don't think people understand just in professional sports in general is, one, the mindset that you have to have, like what goes into that. And then the other thing is not only are we physically exerting ourselves in whatever that is, soccer, football, CrossFit, I don't think they understand what happens after that. The recovery process, how many calories you have to eat, how many hours you're trying not to move after you just did all that, all the workouts. So I think that they don't understand.
You're talking about the games, right?
Any level of professionalism. I don't think they understand the mental battle, the mental toughness that you have to have, and the recovery process. Those are the hardest parts, I think, of a professional sport. We are designed as maybe 1%ers to do the physical part, but that's what we train for. We're ready for that. But everything else that is involved, I think, is the hardest part about being a professional athlete. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, it's just definitely a time-consuming bit. Yeah, like you said, there is a lot that goes into it.
I don't know if that was your question. That's what I definitely feel about that, and I think that was just in me.
No, absolutely.
Because I think sometimes I get triggered or I get frustrated that people they think they get it, and it's hard.
And we're talking about the professional level.
It looks fun,
CrossFit.
and it is fun, but it's a lot of work. It's a job. It's tough. And
all this talk, it's like we're talking about like all the things that like I'm scared to death of like anyone ever hearing about what we do. What we do, because that's not what we do. Thinking that's what we're offering, because we don't. The sport of fitness has nothing to do with health and how we operate as a business. Here in
Stop.
Lapel.
Grab that. We're instructing Jenny. If those of you listening on the audio, we're making sure Jenny pulls that microphone off so we can
You don't want to hear me in the car?
Well, I mean, we do, but
I would have knocked everything over.
Nice work,
it
Jay.
would have been fun.
Love you. See you soon.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Okay, so real quick about this, about CrossFit. At the gym, I'm not talking about your gym, because when you go to when someone goes to your gym, that is a supremely educated, like very easy. A lot of time people are, you guys used to talk about like off ramp or like boarded on. In terms of teaching, I mean, the people that you have over there, the people that you've had over there, like Jason Copeland, like he's a consummate professional educator, and he's taking the Hippocratic Oath in terms of making sure everything's very safe.
Yeah.
And that gym that you guys have is very safe. It is a normal gym, but kind of psychologically on steroids in terms of like, there's no limits. There's no ceiling. There's no limit for what somebody can accomplish in your gym.
Yeah, and we currently do and have the potential to, like I've mentioned already, to serve anyone from a physical disability all the way up to a professional athlete. So there it truly is unlimited potential in there when it comes to the way that we are training our members, our athletes, and it's not limited to either or, but everything in between as well. So I think, man, really the only difference, we're not doing anything crazy. We really aren't. I might do some things crazy in regards to like the sport of fitness, but we're in terms of like a gym setting, we're not doing anything that anyone hasn't really been exposed to if you've stepped foot into a gym. We're very organized, and you're on a training plan. You're not just, a lot of people go to the gym, they do a workout, whatever they just kind of decide that day. Like, we have a very meticulously thought out what it is that you're going to be doing that day and what you're going to be doing next month, and even to the point of what the entire year looks like. So everyone we have built out progressions, and again, whether you are in a wheelchair or you are a professional athlete, your 55% is your 55%, and my 55% is my 55%, and we are both going to train together, and we're going to just our needs really don't differ too much. It's just kind of the degree that we're doing them. So you, Frankie, might only need to be back squatting 135 pounds, while my relative back squat might be like 300 pounds. So, but we're essentially getting the same thing out of it. And
or 450 in your case. Let's be honest. Come on, because your deadlift is like 700. Listen, one time you were training me, and this is kind of funny, kind of stupid, but I had hurt my shoulder a little bit. And it wasn't bad. It was just like doing daily things. And you go, what'd you do? I go, I'm embarrassed to tell you. You probably don't remember this, because you probably don't remember this, okay? This is a long time ago. You go, what'd you do? I go, it's embarrassing. You go, okay, you don't have to tell me, but you can tell me. I go, I was in a rush. I was shampooing my hair. I had too much coffee. I was cold. I was taking a cold shower, and I kind of hurt my scapular, like my back shoulder. Mm-hmm. And you go, okay, you will be training with a PVC pipe today, because I want to see your form. Mm-hmm. And I go, but that's no weight. And you go, I know. We don't care about the weight today. We care about your form. So you don't need to impress me or anybody else. And so you had me, I was doing like an overhead squat because you didn't want me to use the bar. Yeah. I go, I can use the bar. You're like, no. Let's just relax. Just take it easy, okay? And you did some stuff on me, and you kind of got me. You did some I did some flossing. I did a little fascial release. Yeah, get you kind of. You worked on me. Yeah. Which I can only get that kind of treatment at like a Dr. J. Johnson kind of. You can only get that treatment at like a chiropractor who really knows what they're doing. And you're doing all of this work on me. And you insisted that I overhead squat a piece of PVC pipe. It weighed half a pound. I felt like it was nothing.
Yeah.
But I did it. And then I left, and I felt great, and I felt like I healed very quickly. And you would not let me hurt myself.
Yeah.
And I can remember that. And yeah, I know you've done that for so many people.
Yeah, man. I just like it really boils down to this. I just want people to feel good, man. I always say, even with my classes, I want you to walk out of here feeling better than when you walked in here. You know, the goal isn't always to beat you down and break you down. Although there's a time and a place for that too. I do believe that it is important from time to time to challenge yourself and do hard things and to push your limits and to get better. And that's how you get better, you know, through those progressions and testing yourself with new things. But I just want people to feel good. And so for you to feel good that day, I was going to make sure of it by having you move a half-pound PVC pipe with perfection. And perfection being the measuring tool that we're using for that is feeling good. I usually say like pain under like a 2 or a 3. So if you injured your shoulder and we know you have an injury, then when you're moving that PVC pipe over your head, if at any point you feel pain over a 2 or a 3, then we need to do something different. We need to reposition your arm, your hands, your elbows, so that when you're moving overhead, it feels good, it feels good, it feels good, it feels good. Oh, it doesn't feel good? We need to start over. We either need to lighten the load, or we need to change the way that we're moving, or we need to focus harder on maintaining stability throughout that movement. So yeah, that I'm glad that is a sentiment that you hold and share, because it's something I've worked really hard to create culturally within our gym. Is that we want to move pain free, and we want to feel better after a session than when we walk through the door.
I'm a better person for going to your gym. Can we finish up by talking about blokes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm 48. And
looking good, buddy.
Thanks, man. It's all that salmon. I ate a lot of salmon and carrots. That's why I look so good. So I was I was going through your socials like a creeper, and your socials, the way you craft your social media, is always very positive and uplifting, but extremely educational. And a lot of times it's kind of like hero stuff, things that people like I like to look at, because I'm like, it's awesome that I know you. You know how people say, like, don't meet your heroes? You're the only hero that I really care to meet. You know, I've got like maybe you and maybe Walter Payton, but he's gone. So
R.I.P.
Yeah, I've got you and my dad. That's all I got left, and maybe my brother. So you were talking about blokes, BLOKES.
Yep.
Is it?
Get
What
blokes.
is? Pardon?
Get Blokes is their actual.
Getblokes.com.
Yep, Get Blokes and Joy Wellness, JOI Wellness, and they are you could classify them as a hormone optimization, but they're there for just general well-being too. So I would imagine you might have some questions in regards to like hormone replacement. But that is by no means all that they do. Like, for instance, I've worked with them for many years. I don't do any hormone replacement, but still I like to consult with their physicians and get my blood tested. I like to do it kind of quarterly. I don't know that that's necessary for most people, but I'm doing that because I'm trying to compete at the highest level and want to make sure that everything under the hood is firing the way that it should be. And I consult with their physicians, and if there's a certain supplement that I'm lacking, or any sort of lifestyle modification that needs to be made, I have them to consult with and make those adjustments.
Okay. So me being a 48-year-old man, I don't know where my testosterone levels are. I don't think I need any kind of. Wait, is testosterone a hormone?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's HRT and TRT.
HRT is a generalized term for just hormone replacement therapy.
Okay.
TRT is testosterone. So TRT is more specific in regards to, under the hood of HRT. Estrogen is also, a hormone. And so there's a number of different things that fall under the umbrella of HRT, and more specifically, you're referring to testosterone.
And what I'm kind of leaning toward, I'm really happy that you're here, because if you weren't here with Jenny, I was gonna call you and ask you this, or find you. So me being my age, any person that's in their, like, let's talk about men for a second, because I know I'm sure for every single age and gender and wherever somebody is in their life, in every single way, there's custom fits that you need to kind of surgically analyze, right? Because just like cursory examinations, not going into like the who, what, why, and when of things, it's kind of pointless. So a guy like me, married with 3 kids, I definitely need to work out more. I mean, I'm a wrestling coach, soccer coach. I'm chasing after kids. I'm constantly, but that's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as a workout at 5:30 in the morning when you're getting after it for 20, 30 minutes. What do you recommend? So you know me well enough that you can kind of prescribe something for, like, loosely prescribe.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for me? Because I've had my colonoscopy. It's good.
Good.
I'm on a blood pressure med. I blame that on Valentino, the second born, because he cried for 2 years and we never slept.
That'll raise your blood pressure for sure.
And then maybe I lost some money during a real estate development deal where I never fully recovered.
Yep, that'll shoot it up too.
Maybe get some prostatitis. Maybe too much information. Okay, but all comedy aside, Sam, what can somebody like me do? Like any 30, 40, 50-year-old man.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I always, anytime that I'm consulting with, and first and foremost, I am not a physician.
Okay.
But I do have a fair amount of experience in optimizing my health and well-being and performance. And I would consider myself a professional in that regard. There's a few things that if I was consulting with you, I would want to make sure that you've tried your absolute best to become disciplined in these certain areas, and that would come down to your nutrition.
Okay.
That would come down to your sleep, and it would come down to also what I would overarchingly consider your spirit. But to elaborate on that, I would call it your emotional intellect or your relationships and how those are going. So I guess
before blood tests.
And now and no, absolutely get your blood tested. I think that can oftentimes be enough to rattle someone to want to pursue these things with an eagerness, if you will. A lot of times, that's just kind of what's missing, is just like feeling like there's an actual need to pursue it. But when you get your blood tested and you see, and maybe you see that your testosterone is not near what it should be, that can kind of rattle you a little bit, and that can sometimes be just the motivation that someone like me, who's consulting you, would need to get adherence to a certain protocol. But yeah, first and foremost, I'd want to make sure that nutrition was dialed in. I would want to make sure that you're sleeping well. I'd want to make sure that you're drinking enough clean water, and that emotionally that you are handling yourself in a way that isn't causing problems. Because here's the deal: stress a lot of times people think only comes from the outside in. They don't think of it as like an inward out type thing. And what I mean by that is like just simply how you react to things. And I'm sure you know of someone like this. They're very overreactive. It doesn't take much to rattle them. They can be easily discouraged. Those types of behaviors. That is stress. And your body, or brain for that matter, doesn't really discriminate between whether it's stress from a workout or stress from a job, and I mean physically from your job, or maybe an emotional stressor like your kid wailing for months on end and keeping you up. All those, stress is stress. That's just kind of what I say. However you want to, whatever kind of stress you got, it all kind of goes down the funnel and into you and affects you equally. And so, yeah, and so in some cases, maybe just, not saying this is you, but maybe going to like marital counseling, maybe just going to therapy and working on how you see the world and receive the world and react to it. And that may very well be just enough to get you over the line and get that testosterone to shoot back up. And maybe it's a multitude of things. Maybe it is working on yourself spiritually. Maybe it is, adjusting your lifestyle habits and eating a little bit cleaner and eating more frequently and going to bed at a good time and staying off your phone before you go to sleep to ensure that you get good restful sleep. But once those things have all been checked off, or at least attempted, then, and for some people too, even those things might be difficult for them to execute. You have multiple kids, you wear a lot of hats, you're doing a lot of things, and you don't really have the option to relinquish some of those responsibilities. You may very well be a great candidate for HRT, for taking endogenous amounts of testosterone and injecting it into you or getting it implanted into you, just because of the lifestyle that you live and not being able to really make the necessary adjustments to your lifestyle so that you can feel the way that you want to feel and the way that you're meant to feel, if that kind of makes sense.
That's a great answer. Do you still have, the gym hasn't gone to 311 Main yet?
We have, and we were planning on moving in at the beginning of March, and we could have, in regards to like just getting the gym ready, but with this new wellness tower, it's more than a gym. We're opening up a coffee shop. We're opening up like a spa, if you will, type thing. Some saunas, some cold plunges.
So nice. What's the fastest way for someone to find Q-Town? Just.
Yeah, you can go to qtownfitness.com.
Okay.
And we have a lot of work to do, not just on the building, but even in regards to like our website and stuff like that. But you got to kind of keep in mind that Q-Town Fitness hasn't been a primary focus of ours over the past 10 years. It's been there's been a lot of other things that have taken precedent over that. We were doing things that we love doing, we're passionate about doing, but also there's just a financial component too.
Well, people outside of Quincy have taken you out of here, and your work has been on the road.
Yeah.
And you guys people have I'm making it seem like you've been like abducted by aliens, but people have taken you outside of Quincy and say, hey, I need you to go to California.
Yeah,
I need you to train all of these people.
There's been a greater demand for our expertise outside of Quincy, Illinois, and whether or not people are demanding it, we're bringing it. Like it is what it is. We are here to do our very best to breathe life and culture into Quincy, and we believe that health and wellness is one of the most important things in any person's life, and we want people to feel good, man. It's really that simple.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Love you, Frank.
Yeah. See ya.